Well, it's Groundhog Day again, and from the movie, of course. Um, and I was just thinking it would be. It, I know for him it was very jarring to have that experience of many days and months and years of the same day, probably, just by virtue of learning different instruments like the piano or ice sculpting, card throwing. It takes a long time to do and to learn and master. And and at one point, his co-star said, it's just maybe it's not a curse, maybe it's just the way you look at it. Maybe you need to have a better attitude about it. Self improvement, and that's what the movie's all about. It's about self improvement. It's not a he's not a different Bill Murray. He's not a different Phil, um, but he's an improved Phil. You know what I mean? He's an improved Phil. He's improved himself, even though he's still the same person, but he's improved himself, and he's learned not only to do different things that he never could before, including reading literature and having the time to do all these things, and also learning to love another and not just himself, and seeing humanity for more than just the cynical nature in which he lived, in which he inhabited his whole life. So and that's the thing is, I think we all wish kind of that we did have a Groundhog Day, not perpetually, not for purgatory, that goes on forevermore, but that we could have maybe a year or so of the same day where we could have the time and the motivation to improve ourselves in terms of maybe learning a new language or an instrument, or just being able to learn about people every single day. And yeah, you have to reset every day, but you can learn. You can learn to love. You can learn to love your fellow men and women, um, nature, yourself, and it would be really interesting if we all had that moment and time to be able to actually live a Groundhog Day, but then live it to the fullest. To actually have that self improvement, because it's a much more difficult in real life, because we obviously there is no such thing as being able to live the same day over and over and over. Um, but because it's much more difficult to do that in the real world, when we all have jobs, family obligations, friend obligations, or whatever, it's much more difficult to do those sort of things that Phil was able to do in the movie. So it would just be interesting, and it would be something I think we all would benefit from. And obviously, it would be jarring if we didn't know about it beforehand that was going to happen, and it would be some panic-stricken moments and whatnot, and probably some moments of revelry like Phil did early on, but and doing stupid shit, because you could really do some really heinous acts and you can get away with it, basically. But to have that moment of wanting to improve yourself and seeing it in a positive light is something that's really kind of the underlying motivation of the movies. So yeah, it would just be interesting, and I hope everyone's having a great day, wherever you are. And here's to self improvement. Here's to self discovery. Wouldn't it be great? But you know what? We can still do what we can every single day, and even though we don't have a Groundhog Day ability, that chance, we all can at least try every single day to have a little bit of self improvement wherever we can find the time. So, hope you're having a good day.